So, today I'm going to talk about how 2020 changed my life. It's actually quite exciting. Going to be looking at this in 5, 10, or 15 years and gonna just think back at how this period changed my life. I remember back in high school, I did high school in Italy. I used to be very shy, insecure. I had friends, I still have those friends, but I wouldn't really consider them as, um, you know, friends. They're just people you meet in your own classroom who you share some memories. I still love them very much. But at the time, I considered those my best friends, and um, and yeah, I was shy, insecure, um, skinny fat. Um, you had didn't know really how to talk to girls. Maybe you had a couple girlfriends who you're not sure whether you like, whether you don't like. You want to make a move, but then you're afraid of ruining your friendship, and and yeah, just time goes by, and it just aliments your insecurities, and it was a crazy period. I remember it was fun because it was fun high school, but obviously I didn't know um, what to do in the future. I had all these ideas of, maybe moving abroad to the UK, where I currently am, to go to uni, or I could have stayed in Italy. I remember taking a test, an ambition test, to get into Bocconi, one of the best universities when it comes to economics in the world, and I got in actually. Um, and obviously, I was having all these thoughts. I applied to King's, where I now study, where I actually just recently finished studying, and um, and yeah, and then February 2020, pandemic hits. And fun fact, actually, my last day of school was actually on a school trip. We went to Berlin in Germany. And prior to that, we had never gone on a school trip in like 5 years. And we managed to plan this, and we went, and we came back on the Friday, I remember, back to Milan. And then on the Saturday, they announced that they were going to close the schools. Obviously, at the time, they didn't know it was going to last that long. But yeah, they closed on the Saturday for a week, and then they never reopened. So I remember going to my grandparents down in Perugia, in the center of Italy, and I stayed there for about a week. Again, I love my grandparents, love my grandma, but whenever I'm there, I just overeat so much. She cooks so much stuff, like very nice food, ravioli, lasagna, and staying there wouldn't have helped me. And thank God I didn't, because then my mum, she called me from London. She had gone to London at the time, in Richmond, like in the countryside. And she called me up, and she was like, "Look, we don't know what's going to happen. I think you should come to London. Italy is just getting worse. Obviously, no one knew what was going on with the virus, and stuff. No one knew what was going to happen. So I was unsure. I was like, am I going to stay here with my grandparents, with my dad, or am I going to go to London? And obviously, I didn't really know. But then my mum convinced me, like she often does, to take a flight to London. So then I went to London, um, and then a few days later, Europe shut down almost completely. So I ended up having to stay in London for a long time. I couldn't go back to Italy, and I think it was the single best decision of my life, because um, there in Richmond, my routine was a bit different than my usual one. I didn't really have a routine, but had a lot of free time on me. Obviously, high school had started online lectures, like for the first time ever. And obviously, we did have lectures. We needed to make some form of commitment, but like then again, they weren't really teaching us anything new. Obviously, in Italy, you have final exam at the end of your fifth year of high school, and yeah, the lectures, they kind of stopped adding new content, and they decided they were going to test us. Because then again, they didn't even know how they were going to test us. Because normally you'd have, 6 hours your Italian exam, 6 hours your maths exam, and then 6 hours like this big, or not 6 hours, 1 or 2 or something, this big oral exam. Where you need to connect like all the subjects and talk about different stuff, and yeah, different subjects. And yeah, so I had a lot of free time on me, and I was like, okay, like what can I do? And I started to get on this, I would take this path of self-improvement, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get stronger, I'm gonna get bigger. Again, I was skinny fat. I wasn't fat, but also I wasn't really defined. I was, your standard skinny fat kid. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna put some muscle on, I'm gonna get in shape, and I'm gonna become huge. And I remember I started running every day, and I started eating less than what I would have liked to. And I remember a few months went by, and then maybe actually this is just fast forwarding a bit. I remember going to Preston a few months afterwards, and my cousin was like, "Oh, I thought you were supposed to put on weight. Why are you so skinny?" And then I realized that to put on muscle, I didn't actually have to run and eat less, but I actually had to build muscle before showing it, before, yeah, making my muscles show. So yeah, that was funny. And yeah, and there was a gym in Richmond, a gym that had, if I remember correctly, had burnt down or something, and they were rebuilding it. So because of COVID and stuff, it was free. So then I started going to the gym. That was my first experience kind of with the gym. And yeah, I had so much free time. I just started going to the gym every day, and I started seeing results like very, very quickly. And yeah, I remember I also, before actually going to the gym, I remember looking at some videos, watching some videos, and I started doing abs every day. This ridiculous workout by Jeff Cavalier, one of like the biggest biggest like fitness YouTube guys or something. And I remember doing that every day, and I remember my abs like popping through the fat for the first time, and I was like gassed. And it was it was incredible, honestly. And from there, I like never stopped. Never stopped um with working out and stuff. But that was just the first bit. We're still in March, April. No one really knows what's going on, and I still have my insecurities and my problems, even though I'm getting a little bit bigger. But I do firmly believe that most of like the mental problems and like blocks start, like you start resolving your mental blocks. You start breaking your mental barriers from the physical side, at least as a guy, as a boy. I think most of like your confidence issues start from your physical looks. So just going to the gym for me was such a big step. But then again, it's not the only step, because you can get big, but then you can still be weak mentally. You can still be insecure, and that's how it was after a couple months. But I think the way this pandemic actually helped me was that it made me take some distance from the friends I had and from the people I knew. And it's crazy what that did to me. I kind of had um, a fresh slate, and I kind of like pressed a reset button in some ways. I had these friends, but I wasn't really talking to them. I was like isolated, like everyone. I mean, if you're watching this, you'll remember 2020, of course. And I think that was a blessing. I managed to reframe my whole personality um, and attitude, and the way I presented myself. So then the choice to go to university to London became a no-brainer, right? Again, I still do. I still love them, my friends back from high school. But obviously, I I saw that I needed a change. I needed a big change, and this is what going to university to London um, did to me. What I thought it would do for me, and it ended up doing that for me. Um, and so then I started uni, and I graduated high school, because then we went back. We had this oral exam back in Italy. It was we didn't end up having the whole the whole 6 hour for Italian, 6 hour for maths, and etc. etc. We only had 1 hour oral exam, connecting all the subjects. They then incorporated Italian, maths into it, whatever. Then I spent the summer just around between Italy and England. I remember I went to Greece on my graduation trip, and then I started uni in England. And again, I had a fresh slate, but it wasn't that easy, because in September, I remember from when uni started till like December, I had the worst 3 months of my life, because I I was blocked in the house, but not the nice block that we had back in February or March, because this time I was starting uni and everyone was obviously in London. You have international students, right? So everyone wants to go out and party and meet new people. Everyone like in student accommodation is in student accommodation um, from September, yeah, and from all over the world, and that's where you're gonna meet people. I tried going out with some people, but obviously, if you don't know each other, you're obviously gonna bond with someone who you live with a lot easier. And yeah, and I remember because I was living at the time with my mum and my stepdad, and my stepdad had his parents back in Italy, who were like very old. So he would go back to Riccione very often, um, and he didn't want me to go outside and meet new people and get COVID. Um, so he would basically forbid me to go, like, from going out, even though he wasn't my dad, or he he technically didn't have any authority on me. But then my mom sided with him, and I was just stuck at home. I couldn't go out. I couldn't even, and we're not talking parties. I couldn't even go out for dinner with new people. How was I supposed to meet new people? So while everyone was meeting new people, making friends, and forget even the parties. Like, yes, parties amazing, but I couldn't even go out and do anything. Right? It was still COVID. It was still illegal to have flat parties, even though people always had them. But yeah, I was just oppressed. I had this fresh slate, but I wasn't writing anything on it, and it was absolutely ridiculous. Um, I remember going back to Italy, back to Perugia to my grandparents for Christmas, and then I went back to London, and second semester, luckily, when things started getting worse in Italy and better in the UK, I flew back to the UK, and March 15th, I went into student accommodation for the first time, living on my own, and wow, it was such an experience. And bear in mind, this is still me, my insecure 16-year-old self with a bit of extra muscles. And yeah, this I just made best use of this fresh slate. Um, I just had the chance to erase all the thoughts and the beliefs that my old friends had of me. So they wouldn't, new people wouldn't question why I'm acting in a certain way. And boy, what a difference it made. It was, um, honestly, I still can't believe it. It just came so naturally. Obviously, since March 2020, I never stopped working out. And yeah, it gradually increased my confidence through my looks as well. Because like physical activity is a big part of my life, through sports, like not just working out, but through sports. I love playing like football, basketball, volleyball, playing and watching. So yeah, like my physical appearance, and as I was saying before, does tie a lot into my mental health and my mental well-being. So then again, I was talking to people. We had parties. I was meeting people, and it was amazing. I just slowly started gaining confidence through interactions, and the thought in my mind that these people don't know me. I'm free to do whatever I want. I'm free to try to get with a girl. I'm free to, make a joke. Maybe they won't like it. Maybe they won't like it, but it doesn't matter. They're not gonna see me ever again. So this like change in mentality and in perception, the fact that I was suddenly hanging out with all people that I never knew, helped me so much. And um, and yeah, I think from mid-March 2021 to till the end of term, it was May, June, maybe. I had the 3 best months of my life. Honestly, student accommodation, year one in uni, grades didn't even count. It was amazing, and again talking to people, and then I'm not gonna say interacting with the first girls, because I used to talk to them, but um, or maybe making out with your first girls, or getting your first phone number, or like trying to be a bit flirty and stuff. It's stuff that you never did, because maybe you'd be judged by your friends back in Italy, like at the time. They'd think, oh, what are you doing? Oh, this is not you, and they'd put pressure on you. But here, it wasn't like this. No one knew you, so then you could experiment new things. You could try new stuff, and maybe some stuff was a bit like cringe and didn't work out. Other stuff did. This is not just with girls, by the way, but like friends as well. And yeah, you get to try stuff. Some stuff works, some stuff doesn't, and that's how you learn stuff, and then you gain your confidence. And this experience, yeah, I've carried it with me for the past couple of years, and it's been invaluable. So yeah, I'm very grateful for what happened in 2020, actually, surprisingly. And yeah, it's been 19 minutes. Wow. I have so much more to talk about, but yeah, I think it's gonna be it for this one. And yeah, have a lovely day.